Today we're here at Blue Springs Recreation Area. This is a site that is rich in the history and the scenery and the folklore of Jackson County, and we're going to tell you about its relationship to the early Spanish explorers as we begin our journey down the Jackson County Spanish Heritage Trail. A total of more than 76 million gallons of water per day rises from deep underground to flow from the earth here at Blue Springs, or as some call it, Jackson Blue Springs. Fed by a system of deep submerged caves, this is the only first magnitude spring in the entire Chipola River Basin of northwest Florida. Long before the first Spanish explorers arrived here in 1674, prehistoric American Indians came to the place they called Calistopol. They fished in the crystal clear water and paddled their dugout canoes on the spring run. The spring teemed with fish, and the hillsides offered good hunting for deer, bear, and other animals. Early Spanish missionaries noted the presence of herds of buffalo grazing on the natural prairies near Blue Springs. Several Spanish expeditions stopped at Blue Springs, and the park is tour stop number 1 on the Jackson County Spanish Heritage Trail. Located on the real Old Spanish Trail, traces of which can still be seen, the spring was a refreshing campsite for soldiers, missionaries, and Catholic Apalachicola and Choctaw Indians. They described the deep and beautiful spring in their journals and reports. Don Marianna de Torres Ayala, the newly appointed governor of Florida, visited Blue Springs in 1693. His expedition became the first by Spain to complete an overland crossing of Florida from what is now Tallahassee to Pensacola Bay. The old trail past Blue Springs continued to be used by the British after they gained possession of Florida in 1763. It is noted as a point of interest in military reports from the American Revolution. Spain regained control of its colony in 1783, and Florida was still a Spanish possession when Major General Andrew Jackson arrived at Blue Springs in 1818. The First Seminole War was then underway, and Jackson was leading his army of 1,092 men from Fort Gadsden on the Apalachicola River to a planned attack on the Spanish city of Pensacola. Blue Spring was then called Big Spring, and Jackson's soldiers sampled its waters before continuing their long march west. The first settler arrived here not long after Jackson's march, and while Florida was still part of Spain. After the United States acquired the territory in 1821, Major William Robinson established a large plantation on the land surrounding Blue Spring. It came to be called Robinson's Big Spring in his honor. In the 1850s, the land passed to John Milton, who included it in his massive Sylvania plantation. He began calling it Blue Springs, and the name remains in use today. Confederate troops were stationed at Camp Governor Milton on the hill overlooking the spring from 1862 to 1865. Companies of cavalry left here in 1864 to fight in the Battle of Marianna. A popular recreation spot throughout its history, Blue Springs is now the centerpiece of a beautiful park area maintained by Jackson County. During the summer, visitors can enjoy swimming, picnicking, nature trails, and other activities. Throughout the year, the spring is a major destination for both open water and cave divers. Now, a county permit is required to scuba dive in the spring and can be obtained from nearby cave adventurers. The company also offers scuba classes and a variety of other services for divers. An interpretive kiosk sponsored by the Jackson County Tourist Development Council tells the story of Blue Springs and its importance as a stop on the Jackson County Spanish Heritage Trail.